and welcome to Art with Mrs Beaufeaux. Today in 4th grade, we're making our very own versions of a banyan tree. We're going to learn a little bit about the history of this tree. We're going to discuss positive and negative shapes, and we're going to review our warm and cool colors utilizing the tool of the color wheel. These trees are really interesting and they come from India. Let's get started. It is said that a banyan tree can live to be 1,000 years old. They are sacred to some people and represent eternal life because they support an extending canopy by growing several roots from its branches. These roots hang down and act as props over an ever-widening circle. The Sanskrit name means one with many feet because of these roots that hang down. They produce fruit, which are figs that feed many animals in the rainforests, such as parrots, hornbills, toucans, howler monkeys, gibbons, and bats. All of these animals use the banyan tree's fruit in some way. I think it's really neat to see different artistic depictions of banyan trees because they really do provide life to so many different animals and they add such a visual interest to the landscape. These are 3 previous artworks from art students in 4th grade. Let's talk about negative space. This is the area around or between the main subject of an image. The space that's left when the subject is cut out of an image. So you can see the green in the center around the ram, that's negative space. Conversely, positive space is the space of the main subject of an image. So you're seeing a positive space of a bunny. To really hit these concepts home, let's look at these 2 images. The positive space is the stool. The negative space is everything but the stool, the stuff around it. That's enough about the art concepts. Let's get creating. On the back of your 8-inch by 8-inch paper, don't forget to write your name, date, and class. As we flip it over, we're going to start drawing our banyan tree, starting out with each side of the trunk. We're going to take up maybe 2 inches right in the middle, 3 inches, something like that. Now we're going to start out with our branches. We're going to bring one to the right and one to the left. Remember, these are kind of shaky lines here. Let's turn this banyan tree into a 5-limbed banyan tree. So I have 2 limbs on the side. Now let's add 3 limbs to the center. As I go along, I'm going to be adding more and more little limbs. And remember, I'm not using straight lines at all. Do you remember why this tree is called the one with many feet? It's because of those roots that hung down from the branches. This next step, we're going to create those. Let's begin coloring in the positive space of this image with some kind of black pigment. You can see I'm using a Sharpie permanent marker here, but you could use a black crayon, an oil pastel, anything you have that would work. This is probably the part that took me the longest during this entire project. I want you to notice how there's no horizon line in this image. I'll remind you a horizon line is the line that separates the earth from the sky. It's important that we leave this image with no horizon line. We've been learning about color wheels and we're going to be utilizing this tool today, remembering the order of the rainbow, the order of the visual spectrum. In each little section that your branches have created, you're going to take 3 colors that are analogous. This means they are neighbors on the color wheel. You're going to fill in each section almost like a stained glass window. I think this is working really well. I decided to use crayons, just regular wax crayons. You can see they're not even the best quality. They're all naked and little tiny crayons. But you could use permanent markers with this. You could choose to use regular markers or even colored pencils. Next, I'm going to work on the bottom of my image. Now I finally get to add that horizon line. I'm choosing cool colors for the bottom of my image. The only negative space that is left is between the bottom branches where those roots are hanging down and my horizon line. I'm going to fill this negative space with warm colors so it kind of looks like a sunset. Oh, I think it's going to look really neat when I'm done. So here's my banyan tree all finished. I think it looks pretty good. There were a couple places where I made a mistake, and you know what? Sometimes mistakes can be beautiful. So if you notice down here where there's that purple patch, I wanted to keep cool colors on the bottom and warm colors right under the banyan tree, but you know, that little bitty mistake turned out looking pretty nice, I think. So I included different colors in each of the sections that show through the branches. And you can see that those colors all correspond with one another. They're analogous colors, they're neighboring colors on the color wheel. So here we have green, blue, and violet, red, orange, and yellow. And if you look anywhere else up here, you're gonna see that as well. It's always important to give credit where it's due. I found this original lesson plan online from Leanne. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.